Bird Stadium, everybody. Welcome into the broadcast. Matt Perry along with Austin Ford. And we are underway on a gorgeous triad afternoon night here in downtown High Point, North Carolina. And High Point, Austin, right on the attack. They're not wasting any time here against this Flames team, are they?
Not at all. They do what they need to do. They get out wide. That's where they have their most success. They can play it out wide, play crosses in. And when you have a Karo Okiyama at 6'2" coming to the middle of the box, you're going to have some success more than not.
20 seconds in, we have our first corner kick of the game, and it belongs to the good guys in white. It's played a little bit high, but still playable. And then the goalie for the Flames, that's Josh Pacella. He's a true freshman. Don't oftentimes see that, but so far he's been a stud. He's 5-1-0 with a .53 goals against average and a .727 save percentage. Those are Michael Chesler-esque numbers.
It certainly does help when you have a defense that has been as dominant as the Flames have, giving up only 3 goals all year long. I mean, that kind of helps. Being a true freshman, that definitely helps you.
High Point in their traditional home white with the purple stripes down the front and the purple lettering with the purple shorts. Liberty's going with almost an off-color blue with big white numbers that I think you could see from Jupiter with the white stripe down the back. Liberty now on the attack, but High Point's defense up to the task as normal. So far this year, that's been one of the keys that Coach Justin Fonder has really anchored in on, especially with the loss of Todd Ray in the early part of the season. This defense really struggled. Ray is back in there recovering from the MCL sprain that he had, and the defense has really picked things up, and High Point finally got back on the winning streak. As here's an attack down, but it will be called offsides as Karo Okiyama jumped a little bit early there.
That's something that High Point has been doing well, especially last game against Richmond early on. We saw Karo get out in the open, have some fast breakaways, and that's another thing. When you see Karo start getting his wheels going early on, that bodes well for the Panthers.
As I mentioned, Michael Chesler's numbers this year are not what we normally expect from the senior from Highlands Park, Utah. Chesler is 1-4-1 on the year. With a 152 goals against average. That's almost a goal higher than where it was last year, and a 686 save percentage. Again, not off to a great start, but there is no doubt in mind that Chesler cannot turn those numbers around and have the typical successful season that he's had in years past.
Very true. I mean, he gives you just such a presence back there in the bag with such a strong leg. We definitely need him to be on his top game, and it hasn't helped that our attacks haven't been as well as they normally have in the last couple of years, but it's something that's coming around for the Panthers, and look for them to try to score early and score often.
Liberty does lead the overall all-time series, but this has been a series that High Point has dominated the past 2 years, including a 2-0 victory for the Panthers up in Lynchburg last year, as Karo Okiyama was given credit for both goals, though one did come on an own goal.
Early on, we see good possessing by Liberty in their own half, and they've also made some strides going up the field. We'll see how that continues for the Panthers, see if they can apply some more of that pressure we saw in the Richmond game.
As you can see, the clock in the upper part of your screen, just about 9 minutes into the game so far. Both teams still trying to, 4 minutes into the game right now, as both teams trying to feel each other out, so to speak, and figure out how High Point's going to play this Liberty offense and how Liberty is going to play this High Point offense.
This is one of the most. Liberty's had a very good start to the season. As I've said, they've outscored their opponents 20-3 on the year. One of the top beat number 12 Virginia early on in the season. This is a dangerous team. I wouldn't discount them for some of the easy opponents they've played. They have definitely served their role as the leading team in that case.
The one knock coming against this Liberty team coming in was their first game of the year, and it was against IUPUI. That's Indiana University, Purdue University at Indianapolis, for those of you playing the abbreviation game at home. If you throw that game out, Liberty probably is off to their best start in school history, and probably in the others receiving votes category that High Point was in for so long last year before finally becoming nationally ranked.
And this is a Liberty team. Early on, this is a crucial game for the Big South Conference. If Liberty continues to play they are, and they have made, we already see Coastal Carolina, number 25 in the nation. We know how dangerous they are. And the Panthers, the returning Big South champs, we know what kind of danger and how good of a team they are. But Liberty might be that dark horse third team we're going to see, and we'll see tonight how that bodes well for either team.
Of course, as you mentioned, Coastal Carolina right now pacing the Big South. They are 6-2 overall, 1-0 in the conference. VMI is second, albeit their one win so far this season is in conference. So despite their 1-5-1 record, they are in second place in the Big South Conference. A place High Point sure would like to be by night's end, as this is the conference opener for the Panthers, and for both teams for that matter.
There you see the true strength of Michael Chesler's leg right there. Most guys begin it's about midfield. Chesler gets it 3/4 of the way down the field, puts High Point at an extreme advantage on the offensive end of the ball.
Certainly something to keep in mind that Liberty's going to have to do is the transition offense, where High Point can go from defense to playing offense so quickly on the one boot of Michael Chesler. That's something that Liberty's defense has to be certainly cognizant of, at least not at the very least aware of, as Will Stewart will just deposit that ball out of bounds, and it'll be a throw-in along the very far side for the Flames out of Lynchburg, Virginia. High Point Liberty has really become a natural rivalry in the past couple of years, as Chesler comes out and scoops that up going down to the slide and wanted a quick outlet, but instead will pull it back and will now get a boot. As I mentioned, these two teams really developing a natural rivalry between the two schools. For the long time, it was High Point Winthrop, but over the past couple of years, for whatever mixture of reasons, that rivalry seems to have subsided a little bit, and in its place, due in large part to the epic battles in basketball, High Point and Liberty really have seemed to form a more natural rivalry, as now these two teams slug it out on the soccer pitch tonight, as Okayama gets taken down, and a whistle will go, and it'll be a free kick upcoming for the Panthers. Though Liberty wants to plead its case. That's number 21, Greg White, arguing the call, but it will be to no avail, and High Point will take the first foul and free kick foul of the night, and it will be the table setter, Sean Sloan, up to do it.
This is a much different opponent for the Panthers tonight. We saw on Saturday night they played a Richmond team that had 7 of 8 guys were underclassmen as their top goal scorers, and here we have 2 seniors and a junior that are leading the way for the Flames. So we'll see how they counteract that experience.
It's actually White, that was Todd Ray who took the kick, not Sean Sloan. He replaced Sloan, and ends up being a foul against High Point before the ball was even kicked. So now we resettle here, and we'll be off the boot of Pacella for a free kick almost, but it's already played right back down, and we'll take the free kick just inside the goalie box, and it's a quick one, and we are back to action. With 37 minutes left to go in the first half, still no score. High Point, the only stat on the board. That's the one corner kick of the game, and it came within the first 20 seconds. Other than that, haven't seen a whole lot early on, but you expect that, especially in conference play. These two teams, of course, have so much game footage on each other. These two teams, as you mentioned, Austin, a lot of seniors on this team, so everybody knows everybody. As Chesler will put it down. Not a great kick. I think he hit that off the side of his foot. That's not a kick you normally see from Mike.
It is a rarity for Chesler.
And now it's Shane Malcolm working along the far side, right in front of the Coach Fonder and his coaching staff. Coach Fonder, the only one standing up, and he's going with the long sleeves tonight.
And we do see a change for those of you that have been watching the Panthers the last couple weeks. Number 16, Marty Stern, in started for number 14, Stephen Klaus. And we'll look for Stern to be that energy guy. He's similar to an Alex Martinez and a Shane Malcolm, and that he brings this vivacious energy, an electric type feel to the game, and he can make things happen very quickly in just a short amount of time. So look for that tonight for the Panthers. See how his entrance into the lineup affects the game.
The transfer from Rutgers University gets the start tonight. And he'll certainly be looking to pay dividends off for Coach Fonder for giving him the honor of the start here in the first conference game of the year. So no doubt about it. The question is, when will we see Alex Martinez, who has been lightning hot for the Panthers of late? As I mentioned, when High Point's offense hasn't been seeming to click, he was the one lone bright spot when High Point was really struggling early on this season.
Very true. He normally comes in about that middle of that first half, and immediately you always see him on ball making a play towards the net. And more times than not, he puts that ball in the back of the net, as evidenced by his 4 goals this year.
As we have our first yellow card of the match, and it goes against number 7, Travis Joseph, a junior midfielder. So our first booking of the match comes with 34:59 left to go in the first half. Still no score as Chesler will take the kick. And here you'll see the valuable leg that Michael Chesler can bring to a game, as both offense and defense expecting the ball to be played just outside of the box. It's a low line drive, and that was better than expected. It's down into the box and played off the head of Adam Sewell and out of bounds. So from one goalie to another.
Sewell and Sloan are really the John Stocktons of this offense, you could say. They get the ball in the middle of the field, and they make things happen. We saw Sloan score in the last game against Richmond. Sewell set him up with the assist. So both guys play off well of one another and then set up the Okiyama brothers and Malcolm and Alex Martinez when he comes off the bench.
Panther fans, we want to remind you that you can connect with other High Point University fans on Twitter. You can find us at twitter.com/HPU SportsLink. There you see the address on your screen. As High Point now gets it in, and risky play there by the true freshman coming out to get it, but it's right into his breadbasket. It's an easy play, but Okiyama was waiting in the wings if there was to be any sort of bobble there.
Second straight game against a true freshman goalie, but as you said, Matt, this is a different breed of true freshman goalie with the .52 goals against average. Certainly has been a special player and a surprise player, I would say, for the Flames this season.
And make no mistake about it, as you mentioned, Austin, he's been tested early on playing teams such as
number 12 Richmond.
Virginia. I mean, Virginia, getting your teams mixed up there. Richmond and Virginia, both high-quality teams. High Point playing Richmond and beating, Liberty playing Virginia and beating them.
You see that, I mean, we talk about how they played IUPUI first game of the year, and they've had a couple Southern Virginia last Tuesday for these Flames. But as evidenced by that win against number 12 Virginia, this is a team that has the firepower to stick with the guns from the ACC and some of those big power conferences we see in college soccer.
This game is actually a rainout from a previously scheduled earlier game on the year. Due to some massive rainstorms we had a couple weeks ago here in the Triad, this game was rescheduled. So this game was to be a very early regular season conference opener for these two teams. But getting the game in tonight, and you couldn't ask for better weather tonight. It's clear, it's cool, it's crisp, it's a fall day in the Triad.
Certainly so, and that pitch has certainly dried up since Saturday night's game against Richmond when the ball would probably slide a little bit more on the turf. These guys would like it. So let's see how that changed, especially for the Panthers coming in tonight after having played 2 different surfaces for the past couple weeks. See how they adjust to the change in surface.
Here comes Shane Malcolm, the speedster out of Miami, working along the far side, trying to get it into the box. Centering pass would have been there, but Adam Sewell couldn't put the brakes on quick enough. And High Point will pull it back out, but right back in. Good one-touch there from Sloan to Bennett. Shot! And it sails high at the last possible minute, as Liberty had to hold their breath and their hearts up in their throats. That ball just seemed to sail at the last possible second. It was on the mark, just sailed a fraction of a bit.
You saw a beautiful 1-2 there from Bennett to Sloan and back to Bennett. Almost FIFA-esque there from Sloan with a little back heel. Beautiful play and a good touch there by Bennett, just a hair too high.
The perfect back heel kick from Sloan was right where it needed to be, and Bennett gave it a great looking attempt, but it just sails high, and Liberty dodges the very first bullet of the game, and we have our first shot on goal, and it comes with just over 31 minutes left to play in the first half. So that's what you expect from High Point. Get an opportunity like that. Shane Malcolm sets it up, but it ends up being the defender, Bennett, to get the shot on. And now Liberty with an opportunity, and that's banged home. So Liberty puts the goal on the board. It wasn't hit all that well, but Michael Chesler just a little bit slow to his left. And it goes to Alex Verville, number 5, a senior midfielder, knocks it home, and Liberty takes the 1-0 lead.
There you just saw a little bit of poor defense there. You saw the Flames play on the opposite side of the field, just trying to save that ball from going out. Two Panthers overestimated in some form or fashion, and the easy goal there for the Flames early on in the game.
So Verville gives the Flames the first lead in conference of the year. And just like that, the momentum does swing. As High Point just misses an opportunity, and Liberty takes advantage of it by knocking it home.
Only the second goal for Verville in his second start of the year. So that's good numbers there. That adds to 8 different guys this year have scored for the Flames. Very widespread offense. They have a lot of fun and are able to spread that ball around very easily.
The definition of a widespread offense, kind of comparatively, if you want to talk about offenses, as Okiyama will look to answer, and he's taken down in the box, no whistle. And now it's Liberty back on the attack. If you want to compare these two teams, it would kind of be like Liberty would kind of be like in football, would kind of be like a 4-wide formation. Let it go from there. High Point, of course, would be the run and gun style offense of speed and physicality.
Here's a good Boston reference for my friend Matt here. The Flames are similar to the Patriots in that they have a number of options Tom Brady throws to. For the Flames, they have a number of options they can go to on their attacking third. And we saw right there with Verville on the goal.
Anytime we can relate European football to American football, I think that's a good thing.
I believe so.
As now Fujiro Okiyama working against Liberty as that one goes down. That's Philip Ashway, who we highlighted in our opening there. Haven't said his name yet tonight, but there he is right there on your screen.
No doubt he will play a factor at some point tonight if this turns out to be a close contest for both teams.
He will run wild and free in the middle, and it'll be up to Todd Ray and Adam Sewell to make sure that there's a man in white on him all night long. And now it's High Point on the attack. Liberty will give him that in order to play back, and Fukaro Okiyama cannot turn the afterburners on quick enough as that ball leaks out of bounds, and Liberty will take the free kick. And so far, Austin, it's been a situation where High Point's had opportunities, and they've missed it by that much every time.
Very true. It's something we've seen both games. High Point either will able to commit to a goal and then shortly thereafter give up their own goal. Against Richmond, Martinez scored in the 68th minute. Right after that, Richmond came back and scored. Here tonight, Bennett puts a great shot on goal. No more than 2-3 minutes later, Verville puts the ball in the back of the net for the Flames.
I wouldn't even say 2 minutes. I would say that was closer to a minute. That seemed like it was one possession followed up by a goal.
Certainly fast.
As Liberty will now get set to take the free kick just on their side of the midfield line, and they switch fields with it and make High Point's defense adjust accordingly. And you come to expect this, Austin. Liberty's not going to be in any rush now. They have a lead. They're going to want to almost go into a burn-style offense where they're going to take offensive chances, but they're going to take their sweet time with it. They're going to be in no rush.
Certainly, they will be calculated in their attack for the rest of the evening. I look for an increased Panther pressure right now. Want to get that goal differential back to none going into half in this game.
Okiyama now with it. He's got room, but the Liberty defense backs off to play defense. Big tackle down the box. Which way is this going to go? It's going to go the way of the Flames, as Fujiro Okiyama will state his case on the way by to the official.
Early on, brotherly love we see from Fujiro to Caro going back and forth early on there. That's a good sign for the Panthers. They just got to put that ball in the net.
Both teams right now still in the process, and you're really seeing Liberty's defensive mindset. When High Point goes on the attack, nobody goes to stop ball. It's everybody leaking back defensively to get back in position. We'll be curious to see how High Point will adjust to that, if they're going to allow them to kind of stop and allow High Point's offense to settle in, or if they're going to keep forcing the issue and allow Liberty to get sent back defensively.
Panthers are at a catch-22 of sorts. You want to be able to pressure on ball to go and try to get that equalizer, but then with guys like Ashaway for the Flames and they're attacking thirds, you can't leak up too much, but they have such firepower to quickly in the counterattack come back and get a second goal.
High Point that time deciding to pull it back, and will now pull it back even further. As Ashaway was right on there, as was number 7, Travis Joseph, causing a little bit of mischief for that last line of defense before Chesler of Will Stewart and Michael Ray as they were trying to clear it out of there, and Liberty now with the ball on their side. As we come up on 25 minutes to go in the first half. If you're just joining us, High Point had an opportunity with Ryan Bennett, and it sailed high just a little bit. And then High Point came right back, and Liberty scored to go up 1-0 as there's a push there, still no foul called.
Teams this year being very physical with Kara Okiyama, the preseason attacking player of the year coming into the Big South, and yet only those 2 goals to boast. Teams are being very aggressive with him, being very physical, trying to slow down the big, powerful Texan.
The answer seems to be to play defense against him and make him make the first move. That seems to be the riddle to the answer right now of how to stop Kara Okiyama. He's been held in check so far this year, and it's got to be semi-frustrating, as you mentioned, for the big Austin. As that ball bounces out of bounds, and it will go out of bounds for a goal kick. We want to remind you, sports fans, if you have any questions or comments about tonight's broadcast, you can contact us through email. The email address there you see on the screen is sportslink@highpoint.edu. As Chesler will step back here. He's got to be a little bit frustrated. I'm sure he feels like he could have very easily had that save. It sailed a little bit just to his left, and he wasn't able to get back in time. As there's a massive collision right on the HI. I believe that's Sean Sloan.
Verville on the aggressive challenge on that play. See if Sloan can get up from that injury.
That is, in fact, Sean Sloan. A little bit slow getting up. But the Illinois native up now, still hands on his hips or hands on his knees. And he, again, as you mentioned, he is a big facet of this team for High Point, replacing Scott Rojo of last year's team, who's now playing in the MLS Developmental League as the main table setter, assist maker, playmaker, whatever you want to call it. And he tried to put that one on in a little bit too long, and it's played back by Liberty.
Panthers have to look to continue to try and get chances on net. The only way you can come back from that, I don't think they're going to be able tonight to sit back and let the game come to them. They're going to have to go and take the bull by its horns and go searching for that first equalizing goal.
High Point right now having to play a little bit of defense, but good play by the Panther defense. They've been up to the task. That one minor hiccup, though, is really the difference maker so far tonight, and that's what makes High Point trail 1-0. Great win there by Okiyama, and Sloan can't catch it, and you can see the frustration on Sean Sloan's face. He is not happy so far early on in this game. Breaks just haven't gone High Point's way, and Liberty's been able to capitalize, but Sloan poking the ball away, and now we'll dump it off to the back line there, and Liberty's right there to close that option off.
You see Pat Donahue playing up there. He sometimes comes up in that position when you see Sewell and Sloan going far up in the box. You see Donahue coming up to about halfway on that High Point attacking side. He's able to make plays from that position as well.
As Shane Malcolm said hello to the corner pole as he ran by, ripped it right out of the ground in frustration. So you're really starting to see the frustration for this Panther team. You felt like they might have gotten a little bit of their groove back in the game against Richmond, but for whatever reason are a little bit slow out of the starting gate so far tonight.
This is certainly a High Point team that likes to start off hot. Last Saturday, against Richmond, scored in the 15th minute of the first half. Against South Carolina, same thing, scored early on. They like to score early, and I'd like to see them start to attacking once they get that early goal for future games here in conference play.
This is a team that, as you mentioned, Austin likes to score quickly and often. They do not like 1-goal games. They like 2, 3, even 4-goal games and aren't happy unless they get them.
Certainly so. It's a team that loves to attack. They are built with the Okiyama brothers, big, strong, fast guys. You've got small speedsters and Martinez and Malcolm, and then you kind of have those centerpieces, those cornerstones, and Sewell and Sloan in the middle.
This is certainly not a team that's, as you mentioned, Austin, to play back and play defensive. This is by no means a defensive team. This is a go-get-'em attack offense like you see right here, and High Point might have outfoxed itself there.
Big touch by Fujiro Okiyama on the right side. Just one big touch too many in that case.
And Sean Sloan, as you see running back, was wide open on that play. Just didn't get the ball and was running back on the defensive end, was barking for it, trying to get his attention, was a little frustrated. He did not get a touch in that possession.
Again, we see strong physicality from both sides. Liberty be very aggressive with this High Point team and frustrating the Panthers, as obvious by the looks on their faces.
As that was Oshawa going back-to-back there with Sewell, trading elbow for elbow. Good call there by the official. If both teams are giving them the business, don't call anything.
Great challenge by Will Stewart there on that back line against Oshawa, trying to keep him out of that vicinity of the goal.
As here comes Shane Malcolm. Look at that breakaway speed that he's got running up the sidelines. Now finds real estate going toward the middle of the field, but needed some help, and there wasn't anybody there. As Sloan was caught a little too far back, I don't think he expected Malcolm to cut back to the middle part of the field. As a tackle out of bounds there, no foul, no whistle. It will just simply be a throw-in for the Panthers. And they're not sitting back and taking their sweet time here, Austin. They're going and going every chance they get here. Every possession, it's about 2 seconds, and it's over the midfield line.
In these first 25 minutes that have elapsed, we see a Liberty team, even before that first goal, being very tactical, taking their time, staying cool under pressure. They play plenty in that back defensive line, get to about the midfield, and then spread it wide. They have a plan of attack, and they're executed as evidenced by that goal on one shot.
So here comes Liberty back on the attack. They're going to take their sweet time with it, as that was Oshawa, who just decided to give it back to his defense and allow his defense to see what options there are. As I believe that was Will Stewart who just knocked Travis Joseph straight to the ground, and Joseph wants to know why there wasn't a foul called. That was a good no call by the official, as Stewart was just battling for position there.
This Liberty team is built with starting out at the front with Oshawa and Bullock, two senior leaders that are both moving up the statistical leaderboards in Liberty history. So they are a team they like to score, and Panthers have got to do something to get them off the attack and get them playing back on their heels.
The interesting thing to note here is Darren Amu, who was Liberty's version of Sean Sloan, is not here. He is back in Lynchburg right now. Did not make the trip down I-29 there to play. He's injured right now, so that's a big loss for Liberty, but early on it has not mattered, as Liberty is up 1-0. As that ball coming in, that's dangerous. Goal was open, but High Point cannot capitalize it, as a deft touch of what was needed there, and instead of a soft touch, Karo Okiyama rocketed that one to Wake Forest. So now High Point will settle back in defensively and wait for the kick, and High Point, by advantage of Adam Sewell's verticality, is able to take it right back.
Strong challenge by Malcolm in the middle, kind of putting some of that physicality back towards the Flames.
As Alex Martinez starts to get loose down along that Panther sideline, getting his wind sprints in right now. Still with the yellow penny under the watchful eye of Jess Stanton, the head athletic trainer for this soccer team.
With a team like the Panthers that love to run, get out, and be in the open, you most definitely have to be in physical shape, which safe to say all of our Panthers are in that physical shape needed to run that style of offense.
This was a Panther team that rededicated itself after the crushing loss to Coastal Carolina on this field just over a full year ago now. And many Panther players still have the bitter taste of that loss in their mouth. Just ask the Okiyama brothers and Michael Chesler how that one felt. And that was a loss that these guys are dying to avenge and will get a chance in a couple of weeks. Because Liberty right now is doing more complaining than they are playing defense. As that's headed out of bounds, and High Point will move up about 30, 40 yards and then take another throw in.
As much as those Panthers want to look forward to that Coastal game, they have to realize with the conference they're in, you have to win your conference to get into the tournament, and every game counts in this conference schedule, especially tonight here against the Flames.
As High Point and Sloan playing it along the near side, and Bennett cannot keep it in bounds. So that goes out of bounds. And we want to remind you folks that you can vote for HPU's Austin Dillon today for Camping World Truck Series Most Popular Driver of the Year. Fans can vote online for their favorite driver until November 17th at NASCAR.com. For more information, you can log on to HighPointPanthers.com.
Substitution there for the Flames. Coming out is Verville, the goal scorer for the Flames. Entering his place, Juan Nino, sophomore.
So the lone goal scorer will take a seat on the bench for a little bit. He comes out with 14:44 left to go in the first half. He is the difference maker so far in the first half. High Point is out shooting Liberty by a lone clip, and you don't expect this very much, 2-1. But Liberty's made that one shot count.
This is a High Point team that has had no problem putting shots in and on the goal. The only problem is getting them to go into the net.
As High Point and Coach Fonder have got to be very impressed and very happy with the way the defense is played. One mental lapse, though, is all it takes, which is what we saw with the difference maker of Reveals. One goal, cue it up one more time, and that one just misses. And we'll get a corner kick here, the first corner kick for the Flames. Then it's the second one of the match, as Michael Chesler will now have to set his defense how he wants it.
There was Ashaway again in the middle of the box getting his first shot on. That cannot happen. Those type of cracks in this Panthers defense cannot happen if they expect to come back and win this game.
Todd Ray will get his big San Antonio, Texas frame in front of Ashaway. He's Ashaway being the only Liberty player inside the small box right in front of the goal. He stands right next to Chesler. Ray right behind him. Ashaway cuts to the corner. That's where they were trying to go. Good read there by the Panthers. They were ready for that one.
Bintic there with the cross in for the Flames.
Now it comes back in, and good head out there by the Panthers. Their defense, with the exception of that one mental lapse, has been on the mark so far tonight. But another one thrown in, and that one will go as a corner kick. Good effort, though, by Liberty trying to keep it in play. And we get our first substitution for the Panthers. And it comes in the way of Alex Martinez, who's been, as we mentioned, so far lightning hot. He will replace Fujiro Okiyama. And a little bit difference here. We've seen teams past. Everybody stands up on that Panther bench and applauds the effort of Fujiro Okiyama. And then when Fujiro sits down, everybody on the bench is allowed to sit down.
Very true. This is an interesting substitution for the Panthers. We've seen Okiyama, Fujiro that is, has played all of the games and has been in a crucial part, a staple, I would say, in this starting attack. And so the entrance of Martinez, let's see if that feels Coach Fonder's nervousness right now about the outlook of his team.
Going with the hot hand with 12 minutes left to go. As you may lose a little bit of size, as Fujiro Okiyama is a little bit bigger. He is 6'2". Alex Martinez, not quite. He's 5'8", so a little bit of size, but Martinez is just as quick.
Again, look there. Martinez already getting a touch in the game and making a play to Kara Okiyama.
As Kara Okiyama did some sort of ballet move. I'm sure there was some proper name for exactly what that move was.
I think that's a little outside of our pay grade, Matt.
Yeah, exactly right. As High Point now has to go back on the defensive side of things, quickly trying to get back. Good job by Panthers getting back defensively to slam the door shut on that attempt. And a good save there by Sean Sloan to keep that ball in play. That will draw a cheer from the Panther crowd on hand tonight.
There again, Bennett and Sloan, the backbone of that middle and back of the defense, both making excellent hustle plays in that situation.
Martinez and Malcolm switch sides and then try to create something, and we'll get a goal kick here as Malcolm chased the ball all the way out of bounds.
I would argue that Malcolm and Martinez can rival some of the 40 times put up by some of the best college football athletes in the nation. With their speed and their quickness, that initial burst just gives them an added advantage over the defensive attackers.
This is a team that could probably join the track and field team in the spring in terms of some of the sprinters and be right up there in the 4x100 time. Tara Okiyama, actually in that vein, was a former two-sport athlete here on the cross-country or the track and field team before switching over just to focus on soccer.
I feel he made the correct decision,
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Especially by his preseason rankings and honors he has received.
As that ball's leaked down, Bennett has to hustle back. It's taken down from behind. That will draw a foul. That's just good hustle by Bennett getting down there and getting the proper position and forcing Liberty to take him down from behind. So that will draw a whistle with 9 minutes and 45 seconds left to go in the first half. Liberty the difference maker right now. It's 1-0. High Point trying to get the equalizer before they go into the halftime break. High Point and Liberty, though, both with 2 shots apiece. Corner kicks even at 1. The only one on the scoreboard that doesn't favor both sides is the one that favors only Liberty, and that's the score, 1-0.
Liberty's really been taking a page out of High Point's book. They funnel it into the inside and stretch it right back out to the corners where their men are attacking and played in great crosses.
Chesler quickly scoops it up. A couple of bounces on the dribble and now wants to go, but instead will pull it back as he has to deal with Travis Joseph, who's been a thorn in Chesler's face. Every time Chesler picks it up, Joseph is right there waiting for it. Hassaway, a good defensive effort there, but High Point keeps it in play, and all it does is make Liberty have to throw in from a little bit further down.
Certainly in this first half, outside of the score, I would have to say Liberty has played this first half better than the Panthers. Just their intensity level, their focus seems to be a little bit more than what High Point had wanted coming into the evening.
Sure, athletics is a game of what-ifs, but you have to wonder how big of a difference it would be if Ryan Bennett is able to put a little less touch on that ball and settle that ball in right below the crossbar instead of right above. The next thing you know, Reveal is able to go right down the field and put it in, or Reveal is able to go right down the field and put it in. But High Point with an opportunity right now to draw back even. 8 minutes left to go in the first half. High Point has an opportunity. Fans, be sure to join over 2,500 High Point University athletic fans on Facebook today. You'll find quick links to game stories, videos, and photo galleries online. As that ball settles in, and High Point will go ahead and chase it down. So High Point does nothing but keep the possession, which is a plus in that situation. And now we'll turn it back over to the Flames. So good defensive stand by High Point, or by Liberty on that one.
Very unique setup there by the Flames on that corner kick. All 11 men were on their side of midfield, and yet on a counterattack, they still have 3 to the Panthers' 4 and are outrunning them.
As that ball bounced down, High Point trying to get down there defensively, and that ball will kick out of bounds. And Michael Chesler is furious at somebody.
I think he's just tired of seeing Joseph's face in his box for the most part of this first half.
He is still jarring at somebody. He really lit into somebody there defensively before that ball was even kicked out of bounds.
Reminds me a little bit of Tim Howard in a national team aspect, getting on the United States defenders. But in much the same way, the Panthers really need to solidify that back line. They're letting too many cracks come in allowing these Flames to just shoot right in.
Asherwa right back in the box. High Point marks him well. They've got 4 guys and 5 if you count Chesler, but then a corner kick, header back in, saved once by Chesler and then saved again. Good job by Chesler to keep that out of play. So Mike, who let in a goal he probably shouldn't have, comes back and answers nicely as High Point almost brings in a line change. There was some substitutions waiting along the side.
I didn't know we were playing hockey here, Matt.
It's Mamadi Nayapon, number 12, Kendall Lawson, and we'll try to get you updated on everybody else who came back in. So High Point really putting the pressure on Liberty here as Coach Fonder calls together the guys who checked out of the game. We'll have a little powwow up along the far side.
Right there, Lawson and Nyapom come into the game and immediately are attacking, something the Panthers want off their bench. You want guys to come in and make an immediate impact energy-wise at the least.
It is Leon Carvey, the other Panther, who checked in as well. So it's Carvey and Martinez join Nyapon up front. They're the 2 or 3 stars of the future for High Point.
Certainly is unique to have a team like High Point with such a mixture of senior leadership, such as a Kara Okiyama, and then you have a Mamadi Nyapon and a sophomore and Alex Martinez on that exact same level as Karo. Bodes well for the future of High Point soccer athletics.
Nyapon, of course, the Greensboro native, one of the more heralded recruits this program has ever seen. And he answered quickly, picking up a goal in the exhibition matchup versus Appalachian State on a brilliant-looking goal. But has since then quieted down and still trying to adjust to the collegiate level game. And there is a big difference going from the collegiate level to the high school level. But there is no doubt Nyapon will be a good one.
He has no greater mentors than on his own team with the Okiyama brothers to look up to and see how their attacking style and how they have adapted their games from the high school to the collegiate level.
He has been a shadow everywhere Caro goes. You can't look very far, and there you see Mamadi. As this is what we've seen so far. Let's count the white shirts around the goal area. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 if you count Chesler. And then 1 Liberty player, that's Asherwa, as they get set for the corner kick here. This time they bounce it over, and Chesler, great looking wide receiver play, picking that ball out of traffic, and Liberty has to hustle back on defense knowing what's coming, as High Point had an opportunity there to catch the Flames napping. Good one touch there, back now, works it back to the middle of the field. That's where Alex Martinez waits for it. Tried to get the one touch over to no one in particular, and the Flames are right there to take it back. A big-time error there by Alex Martinez. I think he knew what he wanted to do with it and then couldn't do what he wanted to do.
Just looking up a little bit too quick there, just not finishing the play. It would have been a good one, but again, you have to focus all the way through his possession.
So High Point now has to play catch-up back on defense, and the defense there to shut the door. But Liberty keeping the pressure on.
Joseph and Asherwa again, right in the mix of things.
And now Mamadi Nyapon swings it back over as number 12, Kendall Lawson, had it. And now it goes back to the far side. Under 3 minutes, or coming up on 3 minutes to play in the first half, as the Flames have controlled the last 2 or 3 minutes of action here. High Point's gotten a corner kick, but hasn't seen a real good shot at the goal in a couple of minutes now. And what's been a rapid moving first half of play. As Lawson gets bumped off the ball there, and then almost a elbow shot from Nyarko there as Lawson and he went down.
There's a sense of angst and urgency in the crowd and also on the field right now for the Panthers. They realize, yes, it's only 1 goal, but I think they know the scoring capabilities of these Flames and what a 2-goal deficit could mean at this stage of the game.
This has been a game where you're really seeing the physicality of the game in full effect, but the official has let them play on, that's for sure. We've seen 1 yellow card but that's been really it.
True. As you say, for such physicality, Matt, with only that one yellow card, you see the mindset of the referees. I think they feel the importance of this first conference game of the year, and I don't think they want to have that burden of deciding one way or the other who's going to take this one home.
This is the defending regular season conference champions, that of course being High Point, and a team that would love to contend for that title this year in Liberty. Of course, the defending conference champion, of course, resides down in Conway, South Carolina, that being the Chanticleers of Coastal Carolina. As High Point right now down 1-0 with 1:33 left to go in the first half. The Flames now out shooting High Point 5-2.
Great depth and touch on that pass.
But High Point's defense up to the task, but Liberty gets the ball right back. High Point just cannot seem to clear it. They stop the Flames but cannot clear it as that ball is deflected backwards. And now High Point with the opportunity, and there you see the difference with this new line that's in the Liberty defense right up in their face instead of playing back. Trying to take the ball away before High Point can even get anything going. As a quick throw in from Nyapon, he wants something quickly and wants to go right away. Doesn't want to settle and take time off the clock. High Point looking for one more, maybe two last gasps here in the first half and try and steal the momentum away in some way from this Flames offense going into the halftime break. As Chesler will just kick it out of bounds. That will burn a little bit more time off the clock, as we'll come up on 30 seconds left to go here.
I wouldn't be surprised if you see at least 10 to 11 Panthers back here on their half of the field just trying to hold this one-goal deficit at where it's at.
As that ball bounced out of bounds, let's see where is it going to go. It will go via the Flames' way with now under 7 seconds to go. So the Flames might just eat it and wind down the first half. So it's a first half that the Flames, and it's a frustrating first half, especially for that man, Michael Chesler, who ends up kicking the goalpost on the way out. He knows he let one by him. He probably shouldn't have, and the signs of frustration are clearly evident on his face, Austin. He knows he let one by he shouldn't have.
Very true. Chesler is upset, but I can't help but feel that had that defensive line held a little bit tighter and just been a little more patient, let that ball come to them, that goal could have been avoided. But as we see, 5 shots on goal from the Flames to High Point's 2, the Flames are just attacking more.
As Liberty has all the momentum going into the halftime break. They lead 1-0 on the strength of Alex Reveal's goal. And it comes with 1-0 as we'll be back. You're watching the Big South Network. We'll be back with the halftime report and the second half. You're watching the Big South Network.